Biological research, the most complicated and complex research mankind has ever performed. Today, as I come live to you from the headquarters at Bengaluru, let me start this webinar with COVID-19. I call it the 0 mile of biotechnology, because before that, people didn't pay attention much about biological research. And after that, everybody and anybody knows about biotech. So thanks to that pandemic, today we are living in an era where biotech research acceleration is a priority for most companies. And given that now we have computing powers which can make it faster, we are living in an era which was never possible earlier. So today we are going to dive in to find out how artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning can accelerate the most complicated research in this world. That's biological research. And no, we are not alone. We have 4 solid speakers, veterans from the industry, who are going to talk about this particular phenomena. Now, AI as such, for the last 3 years, people thought it's a hype. But after what generative AI did to the world, people now believe that AI can really, truly change the world of biological research as we know it. So today, I have a very special guest, a very dear friend of mine, Dr. Pratik Kakade, a pharmaceutical innovator, AI ML strategist, and a business growth accelerator. He has been working in AI ML for several years now, and he's going to be our first speaker of the day, who is going to talk about how AI versus ML versus deep learning fits into biology. Fast forward to that, our next speaker is going to be Mr. Prodyot Banerjee, who is going to talk about how AI innovations in healthcare and medicine is going to revolutionize with the advent of CADD, computer-aided drug design. Now, followed with that, we will also have our third speaker, which is Dr. Elamati. She's going to talk about AI in multi-omics, analysis of complex disorders. And I'm sure you have heard of these 2 speakers already because they are scientists at Biotechnica. Now, I have a special 4th speaker for you guys, and he'll be coming at the end, and his name is Sandip Ghosh. He is an AI engineering manager at IQVIA. Now, I'm sure you all know IQVIA. He's going to show you a hands-on demonstration on how AI tools can revolutionize biological research. So if I could quickly invite all the speakers together on the screen, please, and we can say a quick hi to our audience. Everyone, if you could add. So that's Pratik. Hi, Pratik. How are you? Hi, Prodyot. Good evening. Hi, Sandip. And hi.
Good evening, everyone.
So thank you so much for joining this power-packed webinar. The next 75 minutes are, I'm sure, going to be an amazing experience for our audience. So without wasting time, I would like to invite Dr. Pratik to get started with his presentation, please. And let's make this webinar a huge success, guys. So don't forget to share this with all your friends. Yeah, over to you, Pratik. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks and welcome all of you. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning. And thank you so much, Sandip and Biotechnica team, for organizing this wonderful session and allowing us to share our knowledge here. With interest of time, I'll start with my presentation where I'm going to talk on AI/ML for healthcare and life sciences industry. Motto or objective of my presentation is to give you a high level idea or overview in which particular healthcare or life sciences domain AI is making miracle or part of game changer. So with this note, I'll start with my presentation, and today we are going to cover. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible. You can start.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Pratik, it's visible.
Can anybody confirm? Is my screen visible?
Yes, Pratik, it is visible. You can start if you can hear me.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the confirmation. Sorry for the interruption. So today we are going to why we are here. So today we are going to see what is exactly AIML Hub and how AIML we can explore in healthcare and life sciences domain, and why AI and ML technology matters, and how one can enter after graduation, post graduation, PhD or postdoc in this particular area. So we are going to touch base on relevance of AI in healthcare life sciences, benefits, changes, challenges, and few of case studies or success stories I can able to cover during my presentation. Coming to the next part, so this is a simplified version or in a layman language, I can able to say AI is nothing but machines mimicking the human intelligence. So we are basically training the softwares or machines which can predict or make a decisions basis on training. So that is nothing but artificial intelligence, and machine learning is again a small subset or a part of that particular AI umbrella, where we are leveraging the input data, training that particular software or AI tools, and getting the predictions or decisions at the end of the software UI. So that's high level AI ML terminologies. Deep learning terminology we use to make it more precise or just to get the higher accuracy result after training the ML pipeline. So these are mirror images or associated terms: AI, ML plus deep learning. So now how AI is related to healthcare. So there are multiple areas where AI is making a significant miracle, but these there are few areas like disease diagnosis or prediction, then drug discovery, personalized medicine, and devices and other areas, which are, I would say, booming sectors where AI is making significant changes or AI is making new innovations and uh, making new softwares to minimize the problem statement of humans, minimize the problem statement of healthcare biotech industries. So simply, I'm taking an example of CT scan machine where it is trained AI device where um, doctors can get the ready-made report and make their decisions basis on that particular CT scan report. So again, drug discovery, Mr. Banerjee is going to explore or deep dive in this particular area, how exactly CADD and all these computer-aided drug delivery systems are helping nowadays based on AI or ML technologies. Coming to the personalized medicine, where after identifying the exact disease cause or problem of the patient, what gene-based or cell-based therapies we can give to that particular patient, that we AI can predict and suggest to doctors where patient can get benefited. Again, device is another booming sector. Like we can take an example of smartwatch, Apple smartwatch, where person can able to understand the heartbeat, the body parameters like SpO2 and sleep cycle parameters. Then if there is any change in their heart rhythms, bradycardia, tachycardia, and all these parameters are end outcomes helping that particular patient or healthcare professionals to identify the problem and provide them the ideal solutions. So overall in healthcare, AI is trying to improve the process, or it is making process efficient. In drug discovery, it is reducing the drug discovery time up to 50-75%. Again, in personalized treatment also, we can automate the manufacturing process and by automation or digitization, and minimize overall cost and process time. So there are multiple areas, but these are the high booming sector where AI is making revolutionary changes. Coming to the life sciences segment, so genomics, proteomics, clinical trial, and biomanufacturing. These are the areas where pharma biotech industries are working and leveraging AI ML technologies. Of course, Dr. Ilamanti is going to provide us more insights on genomics and proteomics, where clinical trials, I am basically coming from pharma background. So all these clinical trial phases and operations, we are using AIML technology to automate. So I'm giving you one example. So for uh, launching of any new entity, new product in the market, it is necessary step to perform the clinical trial, no matter which phase it is. But identification of patient is again time consuming and costly part. So AI, with the help of AI ML technology, leveraging patients EHR, or medical record or health record or patient's claim data, uh, we can automate that process. So instead of spending 4, 5, or 6 months for patient identification, with the help of AI technology, we can identify ideal patient population for clinical trial, and those patient population we can leverage during clinical trial, and we can overall accelerate that clinical trial step. So by automating clinical trial patient identification step, uh, we can accelerate process and launch that particular product in the market very early. And of course, by launching that product early in the market, patient will get benefited. And that is the industry centric or commercial aspect, where industries taking this technology, AIML technology, in next step and leveraging in their routine operations wherever they need. Again, for biomanufacturing, by digitizing the overall process, or instead of batch process, we can make a continuous process. So associated software for that manufacturing industry, we can generate using various AIML technologies or artifacts, and we can automate the process and accelerate the manufacturing process. Again, the overall benefits is this particular AI/ML based solutions, they are improving overall efficacy, accuracy. Then again, innovations we are making, and industry can, uh, if any industry is using that AI/ML based tools or platforms, they, of course, they can get benefited, like they can be ahead one step compared to other industries. And by automating or minimizing time and manpower, they can make this process cost effective. The overall benefits of AI/ML in healthcare life sciences you can see on the screen. So, of course, efficacy, accuracy, cost efficiency, and innovation. These are the major pillars. But if you see the future market, so it will be, so AML market is booming. So it will reach up to 1.8 trillion till 2030. So it's not a million or billion, but it will reach to trillion dollar amount till 2030. So this is a booming sector, and of course, there are benefits and challenges associated with this particular technology, like data privacy. If I'm using some patient data, then personal data or PII or PI information, I need to be very careful while handling the AI based software. Then regulations, again, I need to make the software or platform 21 CFR compliant. So as per the regulatory requirement of various regions or countries, we need to make them uh, compliant software for that particular region or country, if I'm using AI ML for developing any software or platform. Again, this is a upcoming or now pharma biotech industries, they are taking interest in this particular segment. In India specifically, I would say we need to spread this particular AI ML based platforms or softwares modules, so that pharma, healthcare, or many healthcare providers, they can get benefited, and they can leverage this particular AIML platform based uh, softwares and make the progress in coming era. Coming to the next part of my presentation, that is how one can enter in this particular AIML field after graduation, post graduation, PhD or postdoc. So if any person is pursuing or completed B Pharm, MSc, BSc, or BMS, MBBS, then there are various ways where they can enter in this particular area. It's not necessary to have a computer science degree only, but bioinformatics, biomedical engineering person or people, those are graduate in this particular area, they can also enter in this field. Again, the graduate or postgraduate student who is doing this certification specific to Python, then various languages, if they are doing LLM or GenAI based trainings or certification, they, with the help of this certification and training, they can also enter in this particular industry. And of course, if a graduate student, they are getting opportunity to work on a research project or getting a internship opportunity in to work for AI projects or AI industry, of course that is a benefit point. With the help of that experience, they can enter into this particular area. So again, certificates from Google, then Oracle, then Microsoft Azure, there are paid certificates, but there are of course multiple free certificates available. You can check on LinkedIn or in Google Chrome. You will get some free certificate link, and where you can complete those certificate and you can build your resume or CV. Again, additionally, if you are a non-technical, I mean not coming from engineering background, and if you have a good hands-on experience on project management or designing aspects, then doing a Scrum Master project professional project management certificate, Power BI, then UI UX for designing, this kind of certification also will help you to get entry in AI industries, because there is a dedicated positions. If I want to design a screen for XYZ tool or software, then UI UX engineer is the person who can design those screen or mobile application front end part. So with the help of certificate and training, you have a red carpet entry in AI industry. And there are some training portals like Coursera, Udemy. You can check and do the training as per your requirement or as per the requirement of a position. Again, after entering into this particular field, we need to upgrade ourselves by reading research paper, doing some multiple projects, and of course making the suitable context will also help you to get the entry in AIML world. So after this I will this is the case studies or success story slide where multiple industries, I mean big partners of globe, they have launched various AI ML based product for healthcare life sciences industry. In this Zebra Medical Vision is uh, AI for medical imaging. So based on medical imaging, they are predicting the uh, tumors for breast or any of the body organ. So they are basically training the software and then predicting this particular disease specificity of that particular patient entity, and where AI is making significant change and reducing time and helping healthcare professionals. Similar to that, the pathology lab people, they are also using Path AI software where biopsy images we can upload in the software, and that particular software is predicting uh, what is the problem patient is suffering from, and that end results we are getting at the end of uh, software as a software input. Again, Google DeepMind's AlphaFold is again well known, and the one of the greatest output in genomics or proteomics industry, where change in protein or amino acid sequence we can able to identify, and which is again helping in Alzheimer's and Parkinsonism disease, and healthcare professionals can able to identify the change in the uh, gene sequence specifically in protein and amino acids, and they can able to uh, justify or conclude basis on this particular AlphaFold AI based uh, 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 tool. So these are some success stories. I have provided links of those particular success stories. You can deep dive more into this particular area, and of course there are multiple areas beyond this. If anyone is interested to know more about this particular domain and how we can enter in this particular area, I'm really happy to help you guys, and you can contact me on my mobile or email, and definitely I would happy to help you. With this note, I'm closing my session. Thank you, Team Biotechnica, for organizing and inviting me to share my knowledge. Over to you, Sandip or team.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hopefully, I'm audible. So, next is me. So, I'm going for the presentation. So, yes. Yeah. So, can anyone please confirm that my screen is visible or not? Yes.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. Great. Okay. So, hello and good evening, everyone. So today, so my name is Banerjee. I'm a bioinformatics scientist at Biotechnica, Bangalore. So today our topic is basically AI and ML application in healthcare and medicine and computer-aided drug design. We'll also be having some look at personalized medicine and other parts of drug discovery, how AI/ML can fasten that particular process and also add its efficiency to it. Okay, so we can have a more efficient way of doing the things, a streamlined way of doing the things, and in a faster way. Okay, so let's get started with today's topic. Okay, so let me get a pen by my side. Okay, so first is your AI and ML in healthcare. Okay, so what are the things that AI/ML basically provides in healthcare? As I say that it will increase the efficiency and as well as it will also automate multiple like what do you say things that are there. Okay, so whatever we are following manually, so that is obviously time taking. So we want to automate those, okay, by the help of certain algorithms, okay, and obviously increasing upon the efficiency as well, okay, to save on the time. So like we can streamline the administrative task. Okay, so the simplest form of task, that is your administrative task, we can or your billing, scheduling something, okay, so we can automate those particular processes. Okay, then coming on to your predictive analysis. Okay, so when we talk about predictive analysis, let's suppose we want to predict what, predict high risk group patient, okay, for that instance. Okay, so if we want to predict high risk group patient, for that we need the history of those patients. Okay, so for that we need the EHR. Okay, so EHR is nothing, basically it is electronic health record. Okay, so that is used, so it is used in multiple what do you say, life science subjects, and mostly in healthcare. Okay, in CDM also, clinical data management also, you use your electronic health records data. Okay, so so there we can automate that particular process. Okay, and we can stratify or basically classify high risk group patient. Okay, so example would be your ambience healthcare. Okay, so ambience healthcare is basically a AI based tool that converts the doctor and patient dialogues into structured EHR entries. Okay, so that further we can use we can classify those things, or we can cluster based on your different type of algorithms that we handle. Okay, so based on that we can classify them into different groups to segregate between the high risk group patients. Okay, so then coming on to your remote monitoring. Okay, so remote monitoring, as we say, remote means like if you are mobile. Okay, so if you are moving somewhere, so in that particular case scenario also, because in day to day life you are busy, so so in that particular case scenario, if we have something trackable, okay, so from the likes of your some smart watches or anything which you wear. Okay, so like nowadays you have smart rings. Okay, smart rings, smart watches, and likewise, which can give you a real time tracking, okay, of your health condition. Like you have your heart rate monitor. Okay, and likewise, so any abnormality in that will give you a notification. Based on that you can get your checkup done, or likewise, or it can come up with ECGs in the futures, and likewise, okay, those things can be what do you say done. Okay, and it is already being done, although, okay, so some part of it is already being done. So we'll also talk about the future prospects and whatever is going on right now. Okay, so we can detect diabetes, or health heart based diseases. Okay, so or coronary disorders likewise. Okay, so based on your remote monitoring, so those will be obviously sensor based. Okay, so where you'll be utilizing biosensors, but that particular thing has to be streamlined using a AI based algorithm. Okay, so then coming on to your public health, so like we have experienced pandemic. Okay, so of your COVID-19, so taking the example from that, so we can do epidemic prediction, and likewise, okay, so what is the outbreak of some kind of virus is there. Okay, likewise, how this can be what can be the projectile of the outbreak. Okay, or how it can go to in different countries. We can have the cumulative data, because a whole lot of data is generated. So, and if we want to process that particular data in a what do you say, concise manner. Okay, so we have to use AI, or the different sets of AI, like your deep learning for that matter. Okay, so then coming on to we have talked about all of this. So what are the things that will be utilized? Okay, so there are multiple algorithms that can be utilized. Okay, but first comes your deep learning. Okay, so because whenever we are trying to solve any intricate problems or any complex kind of problem, so we'll be taking the help of deep learning. Okay, in which you have your neural networks. Okay, then your we can also utilize natural language processing in some cases. Okay, then you have SVM, that is support vector machine, then you have random forest, and then decision tree. Okay, it is not that these are the only ones. These are the major ones that I have enlisted, which are used mostly in biological case scenarios. Okay, so there are much more to this. Okay, So now coming on to AI in medical diagnostics. Okay, so it can help in multiple tangents. Okay, first starting with your medical imaging. Okay, so nowadays you must have seen that we can analyze multiple histopathological images, or your CT scan, PET CT scan, or your MRI based images using AI tools. It is able to point out the disorder, like your different kind of cancer stratification it can do. Okay, so benign type of cancer, malignant type of cancer, or how that particular cancer patient will progress in like that particular disorder. Okay, so or like in cancer. Okay, so basically as example would be like detection of a particular type of tumor. Okay, so for example, Google's Lina is used for your breast cancer. Okay, so to identify breast cancer, Lina is basically used for your breast cancer analysis, looking for the metastatic cells that are there for screening for your breast cancer. In like it can do the early detection. It can at least do early detection of like 4 to 5 years prior, like a simple lump it can identify, and from that you can have the results that it will progress to a breast cancer likewise. Okay, so then you have classifying retinal diseases via OCT scan. So this is a non-invasive procedure. So it is an imaging technique basically. So again, many kind of imaging techniques can be used. Okay, so I'm not putting a particular type of medical imaging. So as I have given example, CT, PET CT, also everyone is aware of those. Okay, so those can be utilized, and by the utilization of which particular algorithm, mostly a CNN. Okay, what you see over here, that is convolutional neural network. So because convolutional neural network has the ability to understand patterns in your images, so it can have the pattern recognition from the images, and then it will obviously process that data in multiple, what do you say, layers. So there are multiple layers that goes into a neural network. So that is why we say a neural network will detect what do you say, process the thing in a way that normally you cannot predict. Okay, so basically it will non-linearize the data. So okay, so those are like heavy words, I'm not getting onto that, but basically so it will be processing the data. Okay, mostly for image based data will be mostly going for a convolutional neural network. Okay, or we can use a recurrent neural network in case of our sequences that we handle in day to day. Let's suppose you want to do a genomic analysis, and likewise for those you can use you have a protein sequence of amino acids, you have a nucleotide sequence of your ATGCs. Okay, that can be what do you say, pattern recognition from that can be done using your recurrent neural network. Okay, so then you have your pathology based data. Okay, so ML model can be used to analyze biopsy samples for cancer grading. So different gradings of cancer, type 1, type 2 likewise. Okay, so what is the grading of cancer? Then early detection. So it is not that always after getting one disease or disorder we can do the things. Okay, so we can also go for what do you say, risk assessment as well as early detection of something. Okay, some examples would be as I say, that ECG analysis for your arrhythmia. Okay, or how you can detect, so by use of certain smart bands or smart watches that you have nowadays. Or a good example would be your skin vision. So that's the app. Okay, so that you can find in your Play Store as well as your like other mobile like in other stores also you'll be finding. Okay, so this is a skin vision. So this is the name of the app, and it is developed by Amsterdam based company. Okay, and it looks for your skin abnormalities to look for skin cancer. So early detection of skin cancer it is capable of doing, and it has a very high accuracy of more than 90%. Okay, so then, so what are the algorithms mostly will be utilizing for like detecting all of those things that we have discussed? So again, deep learning can be used, neural networks, it's a part of this. Okay, then different sets of neural network, as I say, that recurrent neural network, convolutional neural network, and classic tools like classic algorithms like your SVMs, support vector machine, and likewise can also be utilized further. Okay, yes. So hopefully everyone is getting my points. Okay, so yeah, so then coming on to your ML in drug discovery. Okay, so there are multiple steps in drug discovery. Initially, I will be discussing about the classic drug discovery process. So that follows your target identification, then your like compound screening, followed by your different phases of clinical trials. Like first the preclinical trials, then you have different phases of clinical trials looking for your like side effects and this that. Okay, so in your clinical trial methods. Okay, after that, okay, so those particular things, how you can optimize those things, okay, using if using different algorithms that are there. Okay, so first is target identification can be further streamlined using like you can use like multi-omics analysis or genomic analysis, okay, to identify the particular variance which is causing the disorder maybe, okay, or you are identifying the biomarker linked to that particular disorder. Okay, then for the compound screening or library lead library preparation, what we call it as, okay, so predicting like drug candidates for like from vast chemical libraries, okay, so that already, so there are like how many, so there is a vast amount of chemical available in the world, okay, so we have to screen from those to looking for our like based on our research question or based on what kind of inhibitor molecule we want to come up with. Okay, so how it can be done, certain example will be your mol gpt, okay, or graph gpt or your cambeta, okay, so which are able to basically generate molecules. Okay, so mol gpt is trained using your, so as you know that in ai or basically in ml you have a training data set. So in the training, so the training of mol gpt is done by your pubchem, which is a chemical database. Okay, so then the graph gpt, if you have the like features in the form of a graph, okay, the chemical features in the form of a graph, it can be transformed into the chemical structures using graph gpt. Okay, further you have your cambeta, which is your trained using your bitwiz and hugging face. Okay, so again like your chemical databases. Okay, so from that particular knowledge, further it will be able to classify or like come up with the lead molecules based on your requirement and the parameters you have set up. Okay, so after that, like coming on to your different case studies, so obviously when we talk about drug discovery, so there is a requirement of protein prediction at many times. Okay, so there you have your google's deepmind. Okay, google's deepmind have like so this is a company, google's deepmind, they have come up with the alphafold which can predict a protein's 3D structure. Okay, so and if you like, so the paper is published in nature, you can see that particular paper, and they can like you can achieve a accuracy of 98% to when you are comparing or overlapping that particular protein with the experimentally validated protein structure. Okay, so this much of accuracy you can expect. Okay, not always, but yeah, the maximum it can go up to is 98% of resemblance. Okay, so from your like from the main, because the like structure of the protein will also aid in the functionality of the protein. Okay, so and likewise. Okay, so and the same company has also come up with your alpha missense, which is able to detect the variances, so or basically it is a variance predictor tool at proteomic level. Okay, and this particular thing like alpha missense is trained using your alphafold and clinvar, because clinvar has the ability or it has the data so that it can classify a particular variance based on its clinical relevance. Okay, so a particular variance will be pathogenic or not. Okay, or it will be benign in type. Okay, so if it is a pathogenic kind, so we will be focusing more on it, so because it has like it has more potential to getting into the disease condition, so it will also aid in the disease biology. Okay, so likewise we can think of. Okay, so yeah, so now coming on to your ai in computer aided drug designing and discovery, so it is already a giant leap when it comes to like computer aided drug designing and discovery is also already a giant leap when it comes to drug discovery process. It has already fastened the process, but we are further like we further want to what do you say like fasten that particular cascade of things that follows. Okay, so obviously the initial this part, target identification and compound screening, will be same in CADD as well, and we have discussed already those things. Okay, so now coming on to your virtual screening part. Okay, so virtual screening means we need to have some filters when we are looking for some like molecules. Okay, so we cannot directly go about the molecule, so we'll initially be doing virtual screening as we are doing it virtually, so the name comes virtual screening. Okay, so we can come up with like ML models which can accurately or like it can accurately predict as well as fasten the screening process, like using the parameters like drug likeness, like your Lipinski's rule and like Egger rule, and this. So there are multiple rules that are there. Okay, so now pharmaceutical giants like GSK and Pfizer also have their own rule. Okay, for drug likeness. Further, you have your PK/PD studies like your ADME. Okay, so your PK, then your PDs like your toxicology, or your like toxicology parameters you want to judge upon. Okay, so PK/PD parameters you can also judge using those. For that, so this is a tool example. Okay, so that is Zyrachem. So this is a fully automated virtual screening cascade. Okay, so you can find the code in the GitHub. Okay, for this. Okay, and the paper is published in Nature, I guess. Yeah. So then you have your docking. Okay, so molecular docking and molecular dynamics simulations. So obviously AI/ML tools can be utilized to prioritize a high binding affinity. Okay, looking for a particular pocket. So you can do the pocketome and cavitome analysis in, using this. Then you can simulate the like drug target interaction using simulation. Okay, you can also do postdoc analysis using this. Okay, so for like the AI/ML based tools for your docking is your Edison, then your like light doc, RT doc, diff doc. So these are based on deep learning mostly. Okay, then you have your torch MD and AI to BMD. So those are for your molecular dynamics simulations. Okay, then you have your like de novo drug designing, so for which we can use generative AI. So for example, you have generative adversarial networks. Okay, so which can create novel like molecular structure and optimize them as well. Okay, then coming on to toxicophore analysis or toxicology prediction, so which will aid in like reducing the side effects, okay, or forecasting the side effects, so we can manage those beforehand. Okay, yes. So now coming on to your personalized medicine. So I will go fast on this because yeah, so there are time constraints. So that is why. Okay. So personalized medicine. So there are multiple what do you say tangents that can what do you say influence personalized medicine. Okay, but what is personalized medicine? Because we want to come up with a basically we want to come up with a personalized solution for personalized like one patient one medicine, or like one patient one drug likewise. Okay, so for that, we need the genetic makeup of that particular person, or we want to dive deep into the genomics of like genetic profiling of that particular person. Okay, because to tailor made a particular kind of treatment for a particular person, we need to have the genetic profile of that particular person, so that we can know that what are the things that we can know, so we can do the risk assessment using that. Okay, we can also go into multi-omics data analysis, which like Dr. Ilamati will focus more upon. Okay, but in multi-omics data analysis, what happens is we are having a holistic perspective of the things. Okay, so the so we can know that at which omics level. Okay, so either at genomic, epigenetic, or like your like transcriptomic, proteomic, or metabolomic, where the actual what do you say malfunctioning has happened, so that we can know that what lead to the like dysfunctioning of the following cascade after that. Okay, so likewise we can identify the cause of the disorder, and also we can come up with the solutions regarding that. Okay, risk assessment using obviously genomic profiling, variance analysis, pedigree analysis, and obviously we are using this particular data to feed into our algorithms. Those are based upon mostly upon deep learning. Why so? Because here we are generating too much data. Okay, and whenever we are generating too much data, mostly we'll be using utilizing some form of deep learning, neural networks, and likewise. Okay, so that is why you are always what do you say listening to these things that I'm always mentioning: deep learning, and neural networks, and likewise. Okay, so then you have your treatment recommendation. So example would be IBM's Watson's. That's a supercomputer, everyone knows. So IBM Watson for oncology. Okay, so oncology. So it will like suggest personalized chemotherapy regimes for the patients. Okay, based on different kind of cancer that the like patient has. Okay, then we can also do the dose optimization based on the personalized medicine. Basically we can what do you say negate the factor of side effects, or we can like nominalize the factor of side effects. okay, based on different factors. So we have to give those parameters to our ML algorithms, okay, like your age, weight, genetics, okay, so that we can decrease the side effects of that particular drug. Okay, so obviously side effect has something to do with dosage. Okay, I'm not getting into the depth of it. Okay, you can study about it. Obviously, the if you are giving a particular drug in high dosage, it will anyways be having a side effect because it will be binding to the non-specific receptors as well. Okay, so there you get the side effects. Okay, so now coming on to your future trends. Okay, so this is my last slide. Okay, so like AI integrated wearables, we have also already talked about it. Okay, so multiple health bands or smart bands that we have, or rings, okay, or smart watches, or even like preventive care. So we can also come up with multiple diagnostic tools, or like handy tools that we can wear, okay, mostly on the go. Okay, then we can have more integrate pattern recognition things. Okay, so coming up with more pattern recognition for all kind of medical data, okay, that we don't have right now. Okay, so most of for most of it we have, but we should come up with more type of pattern recognition, okay, by the likes of using your natural language processing and likes. Okay, then you have your digital twins, like a virtual patient model for your simulating treatment outcomes. Okay, so nowadays we do the what do you say, drug based simulation. We can also come up with a like simulating treatment outcomes. Okay, so then AI in surgery, okay, it is already being utilized, like some part of it, and we can obviously come up in the future, we can obviously improve this particular process. The use of robotics, obviously the robotics will be trained using AI tools. Okay, so for example, Da Vinci like surgical system, so that you have, so that is also AI trained. We can come up with AI training for that. Okay, so that it can automate that particular thing, and the precision, that is what is required for a robotic surgery, as you understand. Okay, so or then your ML guided precision for that. Okay, so then collaborative AI. So some people were like having a discussion that most of the people will be losing their jobs and all. Okay, so it is not that. If you are knowing about the AI, so you can have a collaborative effort, so that we can come up with a human and AI team to diagnose or to solve more intricate problems that we encounter in the future. Okay, so yeah, so that is all from my side. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so if you want to dive deep more into all of this, so you can obviously join us on Biotechnica. Okay, so we have several courses regarding the same. Okay, so yeah, that is all. Thank you from my side.
Good evening, everyone. Um, Thank you, Dr. Pratik, and thank you, Dr. Prodyot, for such comprehensive presentation on AI in healthcare. Today, we'll be seeing the one of the important, exciting topics we are going to see. Is my slides are visible?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. Yeah. So today we are going to see one of the important aspect in healthcare, that is multi-omics analysis, especially in the complex disorders. Okay, so this multi-omics is actually revolutionizing the disease biology. We'll see the some important aspects of that in today's session. Yeah, so there are numerous complex disorders are there, which is being still remain as a burden over worldwide, like especially certain disorders like cancer, neurodegenerative diseases, autoimmune diseases, etc. Okay, so these complex disorders, even now it is being not treated well. There are no such complete cure treatment for such kind of these complex disorders. Actually, in the traditional method, we basically focus on like single omics strategies. We focus with this data set, and also the conventional method for the diagnosis and also for the treatment. But actually these complex disorders, still it requires a multi-layered analytical approach through AML is required for to understand the depth of the disease, mechanism and as well as to design a novel therapeutic insights. Yeah. So, what is the role of mainly in multi-omics data analysis? First of all, what are the different omics strategy we have? Like genomics we have, okay. Next we have epigenomics we have, okay, and then next we have transcriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, etc. Okay. So genomics means especially it concentrate on DNA mutations, SNPs, copy number variation, and variations in the structural part we can study. So next thing is epigenomics. That is especially we can concentrate in the DNA methylation, histone modifications, and chromatin accessibility we can study on. The next part is transcriptomics, especially like we can see about different aspects of RNA can be studied well with alternative splicing, and then expression of the RNA can be studied well in the aspects of microRNA and non-coding RNA, etc. And the next we can able to that is a proteomics data set. Here we can able to study the different aspects of protein, three-dimensional structures, protein-protein interactions, and the expression of the different various proteomics data sets we can study on. And the next important aspect is metabolomics. Okay, so here we can able to study the metabolic pathways and earlier biomarker discovery and metabolomics, flux analysis, etc. Yeah. So now let's see the each omics technology in deeper, where all it can be benefited. Okay. So genomics mainly concentrate on DNA sequence variations. Okay. Like where we can it can able to identify the different gene variants and also the important indels and specific mutations it can able to identify, especially correlate with the disease risk it can able to say. Okay, so there are many case studies are there. Out of the one most common thing is that mutation in the BRCA 1 and 2 by using the A driven approach, especially in the breast cancer. This is the most burden cancer we have. Okay, so it helps in the early stage of hereditary risk assessment and also for earlier treatment intervention it is being used. The next aspect which is used in the genomics is that like variant calling annotation. Okay, especially here as I said we can specifically study the specific mutations, okay, SNPs, copy number variation detection. Along with the deep variant technique it is more possible. Okay, and also we can also study the genome wide association studies where we can predict the disease risk at the earlier stage. Okay, so that we can see, so these complex disorders they actually need the earlier diagnosis and as well as prognosis is required, which can be easily predicted through this AML approaches. And also we can specifically see these mutation, what is the impact they could make in the genomic sequence, really how it is correlated with the disease we can see. So especially we can see the CRISPR based genomic editing strategies, especially with the precision medicine we can see. So in epigenomics we can able to see the epigenetic studies, gene regulation mechanisms beyond the DNA sequence changes we can able to study. Okay. The most important case study is that early detection of glioblastoma in identifying the DNA methylation and histone modification patterns. Epigenomics, here ML models are mainly used to predict the cancer associated DNA methylation changes in early diagnosis and also the targeted therapy development. More innovative targeted therapy development can be done. Okay, so here histone modification actually they mainly used in identifying the patterns analyzed using the deep neural networks it is being used. Okay, so here AI based enhancer is mainly used to assess the chromatin accessibility and also the prediction for gene regulation insights. And here we can able to, as in the last presentation you have seen, like in the drug discovery, through that we can go for the earlier biomarker discovery, especially here also disease specific epigenetic biomarkers through CADD and AML can be achieved here as well. Okay, so in transcriptomics, actually the study of gene expression, especially in the variations under different conditions, we can study. Here, the AI-powered RNA sequencing, we can able to identify the cancer subtypes. And then here, mainly we can study the RNA sequence data analysis. Using AI model, we can able to study the differential gene expression analysis. Okay, and then nowadays, apart from the bulk RNA sequencing, we can even able to analyze through this ML and AI technology, especially the single cell RNA sequencing in cases of specific cell types classification, and also the deeper trajectory analysis can be studied very clearly. Okay, so even microRNA, long non-coding RNAs, through the regulatory networks, okay, through the pathway analysis, can be predicted much better by using these deep learning strategies. Okay, so here we as well we can study the alternative splicing event, where we can able to detect the neurological disorders and cancers in detail. We can able to see that. Okay, in this complex disorders. Now let's see how the proteomics is going to difference, especially the focus towards the protein function, structures and modification. Okay, so here in case of AI, in case of protein folding prediction, they have a huge role. Okay, the best example is that AlphaFold. They can do lot of revolution in the structural modeling. Okay, especially in the membrane proteins and also the early targets, which is most needed, and the novel targets can be designed based on this AlphaFold technology. Okay, the next one is the post-translational modification by using the deep learning models. Okay, which helps us in the targeted therapies. It is helpful to understand the disease mechanism in detail. Okay, the protein-protein interaction and pathway analysis is very much needed, and especially through the CAD with AML, we can able to identify the personalized therapies, especially through the potential biomarker identification. Okay, so especially in neurodegenerative disorders, some of the key protein complexes has been identified. Yeah, the next one is the metabolomic strategy, where the metabolic alterations related to the disease can be studied very effectively, especially in case of Alzheimer's progression. We can study. So here, by using the AI clustering methods, the metabolomic biomarker discovery can be done efficiently. Okay, so here AI help us to map the pathways towards the better precision medicine and to design novel drug targets. Okay, and here ML is mainly used in mass spectrometry data identification as well. Yeah. So here metabolomic data along with the transcriptomics, okay, where we can see the various disease progression models can be studied effectively. Yeah. So now let's get into the real world, what all the different case studies it could be. Okay, so the artificial intelligence in cancer research or oncology, it is that. So main thing is by using the deep learning models, the tumor classification is can be identified. Okay, by using the AI based clustering method. Okay, and also through the histopathological images. Okay, and also the genomics data, the tumor classification can be studied very effectively. Okay, so the next one is that the drug response prediction, we can able to study well by using the machine learning based pharmacogenomics data. Okay, and also the drug side effects can be studied well. Okay, and see, if we are giving the drug, how well the treatment patient is getting treated. Okay, that is also monitored through this omics technology. Okay, so cancer is such a disease where early detection is more important. Okay, as I said, through the histopathological image analysis, even with the less resolution scans, and also the it can also devise what kind of radiation chemotherapy can be given, how the radio oncologist, how he's working it, reducing that particular person's work also, and it gives a more better precision, and medicine based early detection can be done in a better way. Okay, as the one of the other most the complex resource as we are facing is still now is neurodegenerative disorder like Alzheimer's. etc. Okay, Alzheimer, Parkinson's, etc. Can be detected. Okay, for the neurodegenerative disorders. Okay, especially the amyloid beta and tau for Alzheimer's can be detected. Okay. Yeah, earlier biomarker detection for neurodegenerative disorders, especially example amyloid and beta tau for Alzheimer's. Okay, and the next we have ML based prediction for disease progression is there. Okay, so next is like even we can go for the drug repurpose using the neuroprotective therapies can be done in better efficiently it can be done. Okay, so now if you see the future in of multi-omics research is that here personalized medicines can be AI can that can unexpected discoveries that is transforming, actually it is transforming and still it will be transforming the personalized medicine and disease diagnostic in another level. Okay, it can able to unlock the new frontiers towards the disease biology and treatment. Okay, so now the some of the key advancements in this field is we can able to use the cloud based multi-omics platform for the real time analysis we can use it. Okay, so here the the AI enabled this complex twins technology with the cloud computing, it can able to make the personalized treatment simulation in better way. Okay, where even the data with data ethical guidelines and privacy, it can able to handle the multi-institutional data sharing, it can able to do. Yeah. So yeah, so the key takeaway is that this AI integrates with the omics technology. It gives a better precision tradition in healthcare. It have a lot of novel targeted therapies are going to come, especially to have the accurate diagnostic technology and personalized treatments with much more targeted therapies. Okay, so AI is actually reshaping the future of disease biology, guys. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, guys, all of you, for joining the session.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So, coming on to the next speaker. So that is Mr. Sandip Ghosh. So, can we have it? Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. We can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah. So you can go ahead with your presentation. Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yeah. Sure.
It's
Yeah. It
visible?
is. Yeah. It's
Oh,
visible.
all right. I'll go into the slideshow. Cool. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm Sandip. I'm AI engineer manager working with IQVIA. So I also had the uh, fortune to work with Johnson Johnson as a lead data scientist earlier. I did my MBA from IMT Ghaziabad, and before that, I also did my BTech from IIM Calcutta. So that's been my history, though not like a very rigorous data science educational background. But yeah, I've kind of managed to sneak my way through. So I'll try to use less jargon as much as possible and try to get into the practical world. Okay, so I've been fortunate enough to work with different pharma companies who are very heavily invested in tech. So I can give a very close mirror or close understanding of how or what you should be expecting when you go into this come into this industry. And lastly, we'll also give a kind of a guideline of what can be the
route to get into this industry and then do this kind of interesting work. So as my previous three speakers has already talked a lot about like where can AI be put into healthcare. So I'll just go on the projects or the programs which I have been part of. So I'll be able to talk a bit in depth about them because I've worked on them hands on. So currently, as I work as a AI architect, so uh, my overall responsibility spread across managing and developing solutions for rare disease detection project. So basically, like when you have a lot of data, EMR, wearable, image based, through that, how do you make sure that you detect the most probable patient who would need care? And I had the means I'm fortunate enough to work with a lot of public sector government entities as well. So they put a lot of emphasis on welfare, and through that, using AI, we have been able to, uh, prioritize a lot of patient who'd actually need care. So this is I'll go into a bit details in the next few slides. So there are many other things that you can also do through this data. One is like transition of therapy. It's not like always people will be even if you have diagnosed with the one particular disease, it's not you will continue to be diagnosed with that particular disease throughout your life. So you transition to other diseases. Now with the invent of wearable data, so this wearable data helps us to do a lot of in real-time analysis of the patient. We have heard a lot about this word histopathology, imaging, biopsy reports. How would AI be able to use its vision, computer vision technology, be used to detect different cancer stages? Staging is one of a very useful use case of AI. And also, we touched upon a bit of personalized treatment as well in the previous speakers. So that's all like where the classical ML deep learning methods are implemented. Then there is another sector, then, which is like in healthcare, we sit on a heap of data. There is clinical notes, there is medical notes, there is discharge summaries, there is PQC. PQC is product quality complaint. So whenever you're manufacturing some product, there will be some defects and it will be recorded somewhere. Whenever a patient is admitted to a hospital, there will be an adverse event that is recorded. So we are sitting on heaps of data. When I say heaps, I mean like petabytes of data. We're sitting on this much amount of textual data. What do we do with them? So we have been collecting it, but from around 2013, I'll say, yeah, uh, there has been a lot of progress in using NLP and now LLM to mine them, to get insights out of them. So we now have a lot of chatbots which can mine those data and give suggestions. We can directly give suggestion to the manufacturers that, okay, these are the things which people are complaining. Can you just tweak this? More like an Amazon, like when you give a input that my iPhone's camera is not working great in night light, that's what gets fit into Apple and they try to fix it. Very, very similar use case. Then comes the commercial part of it. So commercial is like where a lot of so these big pharmaceutical companies, they would like to target the right HCP. HCP is healthcare professional, doctor. They would like to target the right doctor to sell or to prescribe their particular drug. They will have a team. They will have a full sales force team. They would like to gain efficiencies through that as well, so that the right people goes to the right people to sell the right thing or to pitch the right thing. There is a marketing section of these companies which are heavily dependent on data science, on statistic, on modeling. Marketing mix modeling is a kind of project where basically you try to give a sense of where you spend, how much return on investment I'll get through each of the channels. Though I'll not get into details, but I'm just telling you, like, this is a huge aspect of healthcare companies, not very much associated with the biotechnology side of things, but it is. Then there are many other avenues like clinical trial, patient data privacy. Privacy is a huge thing. We are talking about a patient's personal data. If I'm talking about someone's weight, height, their biomarkers, it's their personal data. So it's very important that those data doesn't get identified. So de-identification of the data. So there's a complete different teams that will be out there in these companies to make sure there is no compliance issue. Then there is drug development through AI, which I think have been talked about quite a lot today, and robotic surgery. So these are like never ending, but I'm just talking on the one which I do have hands-on experience. So what I've done, I've taken a few of my, obviously I can't mirror the project which I've done in these companies, but I can give you a very high-level overview of what it can be without going into the technical details and what you should be doing in order to get yourself prepared. So I was talking about product quality complaints and adverse event. So again, heap of data. What do we do out of it? We devised a 3-layered solution. Like, given a record, we put an engine to do the key phrase. The key phrase is extracted. Then we run a clustering engine to get the topics out of it. And then we run the topic mapping. Like, we gain the topics that, okay, these are the topic that people are talking about. And then we map the topics to each of the record. And through this, this is like already like a 6 years old project. There we didn't had the liberty to use LLM, but we did use what was best out there at that time, and it was quite a big success. So basically, as you can see right at the end, we kind of give them a glance of, okay, these are the things which are not going that well. Can someone look into it? If it is a product quality, if I can give an example, for example, this was at the time of COVID. We were doing this project. When that company launched their COVID vaccine, there was an issue with the vial. The vial was there was an issue with the vial when it was transported due to a pressure issue. So what came out very quickly that we need to change the vial, and it was a loss of like few millions, but it could have been a few billions if not reported early. So that's the power of AI, where you can just grab those insights within hours, within minutes. Whereas if you had to look into it, get to the complaints, understand from it, it will take you forever. Okay. I do have a hard stop a few minutes later, so I'll just go through these. If you're not able to follow it through these are a very busy slides, so I don't want you to follow the slide. Just listen to me, what I'm trying to say, and what are the things that you should get yourself prepared to be a part of this industry. Okay, I'll go a bit detailed on this case. So disease detection has been like one of my favorite project, and it is something which actually helps patient. I've seen patients who have been who didn't even did testing of that particular disease which our model has predicted, and then when we say that, okay, you got a high chance of this disease being prevalent in you, and then they went, and I mean, like, the hospital called them, did the testing, and they were, and it was a model which was able to, I'll say, save lives if I'm not overstating facts. So what we do in a disease detection project, uh, whenever you go to a hospital, your vitals are recorded, your uh, doctor will write your prescription. These are all collected in a form of EMR, electronic medical records. India is now getting that infrastructure. In the Western countries, it's already been there for quite a long time. So what is being done is that we develop supervised model that whoever has got that particular disease, we try to mark them vis-a-vis the negative population. So there's a positive population, there's a negative population. Obviously the positive will be much lesser because we're talking about rare diseases. And eventually the most important thing out there is the feature generation. Without feature generation, you can't do anything, because what you have is just static data that on this particular date there was a blood pressure recorded for this particular patient. Now whether the blood pressure, how it is relating to something quite big, maybe we're talking about uh, a blockage in heart or something like that, a very serious thing. How is that related? We don't know. Now here comes machine learning, here comes machine learning, here comes AI, here comes big data. They all say, okay, we can help each other and get this patient what it requires, or help this patient to be classified as a potential patient. And there begins the all journey of modeling, and then fine tuning it, and then deploying the model to the hospitals, and doing the prospective validation, whether whatever we are saying, is it making sense in the real world scenario. So the very important thing that I'm trying to emphasize over here is, it's not, you will hear a lot about just some buzzwords that AI is there, but it's not only about the model. As I said over here, that more than choosing a model, we need to focus on the robustness. Whether your model is performant or not, that is more critical. Whether you're using XGBoost model, whether you're using a random forest, a patient is, means, if I'm asking a patient to come to the hospital and get tested for something which is serious, I better be right. So it's very important that we are right, we are choosing the right patient, we are marking the right thing. So in the whole overall machine learning or AI project, is very important to get the basics right, get the understanding of the data. And so here I bring you a very kind of like a very rudimentary but effective way of thinking around, like, how do I start? I don't know anything about AI. I know a bit about maybe life science or biology. How do I start? I always say that it's preferably that you learn one programming language. You don't need to be expert. I was not at all an expert. Now I'm kind of handling uh, projects which are worth million, and millions of patients are into it, and I'm basically affecting lives of millions of patients, right? But you need to start by learning one programming language. Otherwise it will be a bit difficult. Means if I just tell you coding is not required, you can go and have a career in AI, I will be lying. So start with that, and then comes the most important thing. Start with the basics, start with statistics. It's important. We sometimes try to just bypass it that, okay, if I know some cool ML algorithms, why do I need to go and learn statistics? But no, please do that. It's very, very important that you have a basic understanding of the data. You need to build a data sense. So first, a bit of coding. Start with, you don't need to be like a expert programmer. Intermediate level statistics, then comes your classical machine learning. Even in the world of AI, and trust me, it's my 10 years of experience speaking, it's very important that you know classical machine learning, supervised, unsupervised. Reinforcement learning, you can give it a skip until unless you're doing something fancy. But your basic understanding of regression, classification, then in terms of like unsupervised clustering, and your how do you reduce the dimension reducibility. So these are like the basic. You have to get your concept clear around them. Deep learning, I'll say again, optional. Computer vision, optional. If required in the job, you can learn it on job. But if you have the base, if you have a statistical base and your classical ML concepts are all clear, you kind of have that foundation. You can build the building on top of it. I always make, means whenever I interview people, or I try to understand like whether the basics are clear or not. And I've seen like people from very different background, banking background, have came into healthcare and done fantastic work. um, NLP I have not put in an optional, because right now, if you are really not going into the EMR or the classical machine learning side of things, NLP is like a huge section in healthcare. It's huge. For NLP, I'll say please start with the basic NLP technique, but transformers are the must. Until unless you know transformer, the architecture of transformer is very difficult to understand. What is LLM agents? We don't want to be prompt engineer. They are not scalable. I believe they'll not be. They'll not be much effective until unless you understand the domain well. So prompt engineering is not writing good prompt, but to understand what the problem statement is all about, and then putting it or lacening it into the LLM world. Agentic AI, really important, coming up as a very, it's kind of going in the very steep curve. Cloud optional, because most of the time we will be using it, but there are some times when it is like on premise, but that's very I'll say minimal. So cloud is, at start it can be optional, but yeah, as you grow, it's you can take that. Distributed system, again, that is I think I've not mentioned option, but that is optional, because until and unless you're working with like billions of data, it's okay. Your basic Python pandas will be able to handle those, at least to the million part it will be able to handle. Whenever it crosses, there are now some more kind of like a middle ground technologies which are like pseudo distributed, but that's fine. It's again, I'll put that as option. But uh, again, if I just like to summarize and uh, quantify like what's are the basic necessities. So like one programming language, base of statistics and analytics, and the classical ML. So these are like the no brainers, and then you choose your path: NLP, deep learning, computer vision, whatever you are more comfortable in. So with that, I basically that's all I had. Will be happy to answer any of your questions. You can connect me directly in LinkedIn. So yeah, happy to help wherever I can. Uh, Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sandeep. Great talk by you. And I want to extend my thanks to all the speakers that were there. Okay, thank you everyone for joining today's session and enlightening all the students that are there in the life science sector, as well as if you're from the like computer sector as well. Okay, so yeah, thank you everyone. First of all. Okay, and after that, I will be moving on with some of the questions. I will take up some of the questions that are there that I can see on the chat. Okay, so someone is asking that is coding is necessary for your like getting onto the AIML part of the things. Obviously, so coding is the ABCD. So based on the obviously ABCDs, further you'll be going for your making your words, and then from your words to sentences to paragraphs, and likewise that is how you progress. Okay, so in that particular manner you need to have a fair bit of idea of coding. I'm not talking about any kind of specific language, but as we see today that more emphasis is upon your Python. So if you know Python, well and good. And for as Mr. Sandeep has also mentioned that statistical base of the knowledge is also important. For that, you can also learn languages like R, which are like for statistical analysis. Those are the best. Okay, so R is the best for statistical analysis. And it is not always that you will be like solving all the complex problems always. Okay, so if you are a researcher or you are a research scholar, you can be utilizing R and Python other tangents as well, or you can use those languages to train your model for doing simple things like your literature search also. Okay, so if you want to streamline your literature search process, that can also be done. Okay, so so likewise. Okay, so there are multiple applications of your AIML. Okay, so we have discussed about in medicine and in disease biology, but it has its application in all of the sectors of your life science and like all encompassing life science. Okay, Okay, so someone is asking about the methodologies so that we utilize. Okay, so and the tools. Okay, so those are in-depth things. Those cannot be covered in live. Okay, so we have just given you the overview. So if you are interested, it is like you consider like joining the courses. So Biotechnica do provide so many courses, like your coding for biologist is there, AIML in biology or life sciences there. Okay, then we also do train upon your bioinformatics as well. Okay, we also have AI in pharma. Okay, so depending upon which sector you belong to, we have all the course catering to you. Okay, we also have CDM, where we also utilize AIML based tools to like again streamline the process of clinical data management, and likewise. Okay, so yeah, so that is it. I don't see any more questions over there. Okay, so I want to conclude this particular session, and I once again wants to thank all the speakers out there. Thank you, Dr. Pratik, again for rejoining. Thanks for your talk. It was a great insight for all of the people joining and for us as well. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ilamati, and thank you, Mr. Sandip as well. I think he has left. Okay. So yeah, so that is all from my side. And if you have any more questions, you can always feel free to write to info@biotechnica.org. Okay, so this is the handle. So you can write a mail to info@biotechnica.org. So it is highlighted in your screen on your screens. Okay, so you can always go to info@biotechnica.org and you can drop your message over there. So our team of experts or the scientists that are there in Biotechnica. So we have more than so 5-6 scientists over here. So they will be answering your question likewise. Okay, and accordingly. Okay, so with that note, I will conclude this particular session, and thanks everyone for joining. Oh, okay, so thank you and see you again in the next one. Bye bye.